Hello, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk with Carl E. Long. I'm your boy Carl E. Long, coming from the 214, and welcome to the podcast. Welcome, guys, to the podcast. Boy, the time between episodes, so much happens. Donald Trump is moving so fast with stuff that I just be wanting to do so many episodes, but I can't have like 1,000 episodes every day because I don't have the time. But so much comes in that I want to talk to you and let you know what's happening. So this has been a busy week, guys. A very busy week. And what have I been doing? I've been trying to gather information for you. Yes, that's what I've been trying to do. So this week, guys, I have been on the news channels trying to find out exactly what I want to talk about. And I think I wanted to talk about the people this week, what the people are doing here, because people are starting to wake up. Yes, we're starting to wake up, guys. Yes, we are. So we're going to do an episode today. And this episode today, guys, is, if I can get it on the screen here correctly for you, the episode today is The People Have Spoken. We are not okay with what's happening. Guys, the people have went to the streets. The people have went to the streets. So April the 5th, I believe it was it April the 5th? April the 5th was the day where there was supposed to be protests around the country. And boy, were there protests everywhere around the country. Yes, everywhere. So it's just crazy to think that this has been happening in our country. So what I want to do today now is just to go through some of those things, and then I'll pause and we'll talk about what has happened and what people are saying. So I've been scrolling through TikTok and X and trying to find out what people are actually talking about with this administration and what's been going on. And every day when I see things, I'm starting to get kind of numb to some of this stuff. And one of the things that has really bothered me the most is how anyone that is in Trump's camp, Republican, loyalists, or just following him, they find it hard to say anything negative about Donald Trump. Apparently, everything that he does is right. Everything that he does is right. And I find that hard to believe, because even I criticize Kamala. I criticize Joe Biden. I criticize Barack Obama. Why can't they say anything? That's the stronghold that Trump has on his followers. No one will say a dad-burn thing. But there have been some people coming out. The podcasters, Joe Rogan, what's his name? I can't think of the there's a couple of more big-time podcasters who helped him win the election, have been coming out against the tariffs. I don't even want to talk about tariffs, guys, because it is such a crazy thing that's happening right now. But I'm going to talk about them just a little bit. Because what Donald Trump is saying is going to take a little bit to get there. Guys, he's talking about years. Can you afford for your 401k to be totally dumped? I remember when we had the recession back a few years, and my 401k went down maybe about $5,000 to $6,000. That's a lot of money. In Carl years, that's me. In regular people years, that's a lot of money. And he's playing chess. Not even chess. He's playing checkers with the world. Yes. And he doesn't care. We've lost trillions of dollars through his stupidity, because nobody is strong enough to stand up to him and tell him, this ain't working, Donald boy. This ain't working. And I said this and I'll say it again. If Donald Trump does right by the American people, I'll be the first one to stand up and say, that was good. You did a good thing. That's all you got to do, Donald, because you know what? Half of the country didn't vote on you. You can't rule on just half of the country. The other half needs to be with you as well. And then some of the half that did vote for you, they're starting to revolt. So, dear Donald Trump, you are the president for all people, not just for the people that voted for you. Yes. Remember that. You are the president for all people. All people. Okay, so let's just play. What I want to play for you first is to show you how. This is Abby Phillip, Newsnight with Abby Phillip. Well, you know that Trump wrote an executive order against a couple of guys who, one of them was he wrote some op-eds and he was being anonymous. He was in the Trump administration and he was trying to tell us what was going on. So Trump has decided that's treason. So he has given an executive order and has cast it to dear Pam Bondi, who lied under oath because she's doing everything the president wants, no matter what it costs, because she is the attorney general and she lied to the American people that she could separate it, but she cannot. And he wants to go after these people. He is weaponizing the government to go after people because they don't believe in what he said and they disagree with him. So Abby Phillip is trying to get Scott Jennings and Shermichael Singleton, who's on the panel, to just admit that it's wrong. And they won't do it. And what's so funny about it is that neither one of them are politicians. They're both strategists. And they have nothing to lose. Trump can just hate on them, but they have nothing to lose. They have their jobs. But do they not know right from wrong? And why won't they say it? Has Donald Trump have a hold on people that much that people won't even speak their minds? Somebody tell me, what is it? If you're a MAGA person and you're listening to me, what is it that impounds you to not say anything negative about Donald Trump when he is wrong? We know that he can't do it. He's never wrong. He's going to spin it to make it like it's successful. He learned that from Roy Cohn. Y'all need to watch the movie, The Apprentice. I haven't seen it yet, but that's what it's all about. But he spins everything, guys. He is never. When has he told you? When has he admitted to being wrong? Never. Never. He slipped and said one time on the election trail that when he lost the election, he said that he lost the election, but he didn't mean to say it. He came back real quick and pulled it back. So we know what he really thinks. He knows he lost. So let's listen to this exchange from Abby Phillip. Then we're going to listen to some things from the people. Let's listen to this CNN exchange on this subject. Here we go.
Executive order here. Here's what it says about Chris Krebs. Krebs, through CISA, falsely and baselessly denied that the 2020 election was rigged and stolen. That is in a presidential executive order, almost as if Bigfoot was real. What is going on?
Yeah, well, I'm glad to be with you. I think this is probably one of the most dangerous things that we've seen from him. And we've seen a lot of craziness, but this is now taking the department and completely weaponizing against two people who just disagreed with him. One who told the truth and was involved as a witness in the congressional inquiry, and then somebody else who has said some things about him. The problem is we're back to now what he complained about throughout the campaign and his presidency, and that was that the Justice Department had somehow been weaponized. And now you see him essentially given a mandate and a directive by way of this presidential order to the department to move forward.
He signed 2 executive orders ordering investigations, weaponizing his Justice Department against people who just disagree with him. How do you justify that?
I mean, look, politically, my advice to the president on this one would be continue to focus on strengthening the economy. You got to figure out a way to bring down cost. Keep doing what you're doing as it pertains to immigration. We need to increase chip manufacturing within the United States. There are several political things that I think that he needs to do.
All right, hold on. Okay. All right, Chair Michael, I get it. Yes, he should focus on the economy.
Yeah, he should.
But what do you think about the fact that he's targeting his political enemies using executive orders and telling his Justice Department?
But we are focused on it, Chair Michael, and you just said, Chair Michael,
can I answer?
But you haven't answered. not answer. But
I did answer. I just didn't answer the way you wanted me to answer. You don't get to dictate my comments to my response on this show.
Your comments are not directed to the issue. The very
yes, they were,
question
because
that
my
she
response
asked. And
was
furthermore,
the
Michael,
focus should be
on this
okay.
the last
Hang on a
segment,
second.
talk about this
just
not
go
being in a
ahead.
third.
Because I don't want to
Tiffany,
overtalk
one
you. So
second.
go ahead, Tiffany. Go ahead.
I mean,
Go ahead.
listen, Michael, you're a friend of the show. You're my friend. Please answer the question.
I answered the question the way I
think
want.
that,
No one's going to dictate the way I answer questions on this show. You may
the
not like the way I answered the
Michael.
question, but I gave an answer. No, I don't like that.
The
We're not going to do dictating reply the way I want you to reply. Then just don't ask me a question if you don't like my response. I mean, this is ridiculous.
Michael, you don't get to.
Do we not live in a democracy now? I mean, we talked a lot about a democracy tonight. I guess not on this show.
You don't get to just change the subject to
I didn't change the
avoid
subject.
having to
I did
say
not change the
something
subject.
that might be
You just didn't
perceived
like
as
my answer
negative
to your
about
question.
Donald Trump.
No, Abby, you just didn't like my answer
well, that's
to your
what
question.
It seems like. If you were a politician, a regular person on the street would say, well, that sounds like spin to me.
No, you asked a
because
question.
It does sound
and
like
my
spin.
response to your question was, instead of doing this, the president should be focused on X, Y, and Z.
May I
That is
respond
an
to
answer
this?
to the question.
When I said this is why it's so dangerous, and this is an example of why it's so dangerous, and that is because nobody wants to speak out against it. You know, we've been waiting for Republicans, whether it be in Congress or wherever they are, to come up and actually say that we're not going to let Trump's power go unchecked. And when he does something wrong, something illegal, something outside the bounds of the history and the department, they sit quiet.
Is it illegal? Do you believe what he did is illegal?
Absolutely.
Why is it illegal?
If you read the Justice Department manual, one of the things it talks about, actually, there's a whole section on whether or not the White House can have direction or communication for a prosecution. That's in there today. Frankly, I'm surprised they didn't scrub it yet, but it's actually in there. They're not allowed to do that. The reason is because you have to keep the department to be completely nonpartisan. That's the charging decision.
You don't think that the head of the executive branch can have law enforcement priorities?
I think when you call and say go after a political enemy, that's illegal and wrong. And I think the tide always turns and the pendulum swings here. When the Democrats are back in the White House, I imagine the Republicans are going to scream bloody murder if the Democratic president, calls the department and says, go after, let's go after the Trump kids and see what happens.
I mean, I'm curious, are you suggesting that you don't think that it's wrong to go after political enemies?
Here's what I think. I think the security clearance, let me just address the order.
I'm going to have to do the same thing I just did to Shermichael, in fairness to my friend over there. Because my question to you was, do you think that it is right or wrong to go after, for the president to use the Justice Department to go after his political enemies?
I think it is fine for the president to express law enforcement priorities. I think that the Department of Justice should exercise the same judgment that they would exercise on anyone else as it relates to whether someone should be criminally investigated. But here's what I believe about the order in total. The security clearances, fine. There's far too many people with security clearances. I don't have a problem when they take them away. Reviewing access and dissemination of information, perfectly fine, because we do know some oversteps occurred. Looking at whether the government was involved in censorship, which we know they were, perfectly fine. But
He's talking about censorship of his lie. He's
there were
alleging.
other issues.
Hold on,
issues
Scott.
related to COVID.
He is alleging that CISA censored his lie that the election was stolen. It is not true that the election was stolen. Chris Krebs told the truth, and now he is being targeted by the government with an executive order.
Right.
I guess it shouldn't be. I don't think it should be hard to just say, this is not what the government should be doing. This is not what the president should be doing, because if the shoe, to Michael's point, were on the other foot, as you claimed that it was, you thought that was a huge scandal.
Again, I think I think the president should be able to express his views about these issues, but I think the Department of Justice ought to exercise the same judgment that it would use on any other kind of investigation. Now, what these guys did and whether it deserves a criminal investigation, I don't know. You're a lawyer, I'm not, but I do know this. That, like in the case of Miles Taylor, was working in the government anonymously, obviously disseminating information publicly that he should not have been doing.
Like what?
Well, I mean, he was anonymously writing pieces for the New York Times and stating publicly that he was trying to undermine the government of the United States that he was supposedly working for.
What did he disseminate that he was legally not allowed to disseminate?
Great thing to find out. He was a high-ranking position at the Department of Homeland Security.
He wrote an op-ed.
What did he have access to?
He wrote an op-ed.
What did he disseminate to people you don't know about?
He wrote an op-ed and he wrote a book. So what's the allegation?
I think anybody who held a high-ranking position in a Homeland Security department like he did, we know what they did publicly. I'd love to know what he did privately.
They're not allowed to talk about their experiences when they leave government. Is that what you're suggesting?
I'm saying that he clearly used his position to try to undermine the sitting president of the United States when he had it. I know what he did publicly now. I don't know what he did privately.
Okay,
I think it's worthy of investigation.
Now, you know what? I can say that I went hard for Barack Obama, but I didn't go that hard. If Barack is out of order, he's out of order. Why can't y'all say that, Shermichael and Scott? That right there, guys, is what is so alarming and so frightening. And it's not just them. There's not a Republican out there. Maybe there's a couple that might say something. If not, Rand Paul will say some things. Mitch McConnell, he's lame duck. He's retiring, so he's out of the fire, so he can say stuff now. But they are so afraid of Donald Trump. But I can't understand these two guys. Scott Jennings does not work for Trump. Neither does Shermichael Singleton. They work at CNN. That's their jobs. To be Republican strategists. To give the other side of the coin, the spectrum. But they're standing on this premise. And they know that if this was done by a Democrat, they would be all over it. That's the funny part right there. Do you really think that Joe Biden, if he was going after the Trump kids or anybody in the thing and weaponizing the Attorney General Merrick Garland to go after these people? Hell, he's already said that that's what Alvin Bragg was doing when he got the 34 convictions, Trump. They were weaponizing against him. So what's the difference? You know what I mean? God, this is the scary part of this Trump administration right there, because all these people, they had a session today where he had a cabinet meeting and they were talking about the tariffs, and Trump was announcing about the 90-day pause that he put on them and how things were working. And they sat there. It was like a good, hey boy, good boy. Yeah. That a boy session. What do you call him? That a boy. Everybody, Mr. Trump, you are so awesome. You're so wonderful. We could never have done anything without. They're all afraid. The only one I think that has some gumption in there, who really does probably come to Trump and make him do things right, and she probably loses all the time, is Susie Wiles. We haven't heard much about her, chief of staff. We haven't heard much. They've kept her pretty kind of under the wire. I'm wondering where she was when Laura Loomer, the crazy 911 conspiracy theorist who came in there and told Trump to fire all these people. I wonder where Susie Wiles was there. Did she get vetoed? That she came in, she said she was going to keep the clown car from coming into the White House, but she didn't win that one. I mean, that's a woman that has said that 911 was fake. It was created by someone. I'm sorry, but I watched some towers fall down. I watched planes fly. How is that fake? And who did it? Americans did that to ourselves? This woman is a freaking fool. But that's who's advising Donald Trump. Laura damn Loomer. Self-proclaimed white nationalist. So Donald Trump, what do you think we're supposed to think when you have these kind of people surrounding you? This is scary, guys. All right, so let's just start going to the people. I will pause between each one of these lovely videos that I found on, but I'm going to show you some of the March videos, and then we'll talk about it, and we'll just go from there. All right, here we go. right, so that was right there, guys. I just had to show you. That was the march in New York City of all the people. Look at how big the crowd is. I know you can't see it if you're listening to me. It was a huge crowd in New York City. And people are coming out. People are saying, no more of that. What do we have next? Here we go.
Good morning. Another day that we are so lucky to be alive, to be together, and to be in this fight to save our country at its moment of truth. This message today is especially for Sarah and everyone else out there like her. She stopped me at Chicago O'Hare Airport yesterday and said, "Hey, Beto, I think we're going to lose this country. We're going to lose our democracy. What can we do?" If those thoughts and that question is on your mind, here is first some cause for optimism. While in Chicago, I had the chance to go to the hands-off protest there. So many people showed up that when I arrived, I couldn't see the speaker or even hear what was being said. It's a good problem to have, more people than watts to reach them. But it really didn't matter at the end of the day because the message was abundantly clear. We choose to fight. Earlier this week, in that same vein, Cory Booker broke the record for a Senate floor speech, 25 hours, where he helped to shake this country out of its complacency and engage the conscience of America. Go Cory. The next day, Susan Crawford, the pro-democracy candidate for the Wisconsin State Supreme Court, won her election, not just against her opponent, but against Elon Musk, who personally spent $20 million in that race. The power of people prevailed. And then at the end of this last week, Judge Zenas in Maryland publicly rebuked the Trump administration in her ruling after they illegally deported somebody who was a legal resident here in the U.S. to a gulag in El Salvador and refused to bring him back. She and other judges are showing us that the separation of powers still holds in America. The Constitution is still alive. So there's cause for hope. There's cause for optimism. People are stepping up, standing up, and fighting back. But Sarah and everyone else out there, there's a lot more for us to do. Here are just 3 ideas of things that we can work on this week. If you are in Wichita Falls or anywhere close in North Texas, I'll be holding a town hall in that community this Saturday. We would love to have you come out. The state rep, the congressman, they refuse to be held accountable and answer your questions. We will do it for them. Link is below. Number 2, the state legislature is going to vote on vouchers this week. Take money from public schools, send them to private schools. It's the biggest scam in state history. Call your state rep, 512-463-4630, and tell them no on vouchers. And lastly, we'd love to have you join us in Powered by People to register likely Democratic voters to make sure that we build the voter rolls to win important elections and political power going forward to take this country back. Keep the faith, keep up the fight, and we'll see you out there. Thank you.
So the Democrats are mobilizing. People are mobilizing. It's not all Democrats. Independents are joining as well. They are joining. That was dear Beto O'Rourke from Texas. And we wanted so bad for him to win that governor's race. It looked like it was a close race, but it ended up not being that way. Texas has a stronghold. But there needs to be a place for dear Beto. I miss him, but he's still out there doing the great fight. And that's all that matters. That's all that matters. We thought he was going to beat Ted Cruz. That didn't happen. So, Beto, we hope we get you out on somewhere in government, somewhere. But thanks for the work that you're doing. You're mobilizing the people, and that's a good thing. Beto O'Rourke, guys, from Texas, my home state. Okay, let's go next.
So the police have shut down the streets in Dallas. We're in Dealey Plaza, and the police have shut down the road, and people are walking back and forth because it's literally too crowded on each side. Over there is where the grassy knoll is. Yeah, here. Over there is the grassy knoll. Up here is where there's a big monument for JFK and a fountain, and that's where the speakers are speaking, but it's actually quite hard to hear them. And then over here on the other side, it's just another median and some more art up there. But all the way around here is totally full, and the police have shut down the road, which is cool. Go Dallas. Dallas showing up, y'all. Hands off, motherfuckers.
All right, that's my home city, Dallas, Texas. They rallied down in Dealey Plaza. That's around where Kennedy was assassinated. That whole grassy knoll area was just covered. Proud of Dallas. Proud of Dallas. So, yeah, so the people are mobilizing, guys. But we're going to get to a different story here in a second. So, but I want you to look at, those of you that are not watching and just listening, there's something about the crowds that you need to know. And we're going to talk about that here in a minute. There's something about the crowds that you're going to notice. But I'm proud of the crowds, but there's more to happen on that. That was a great rally. Let's see what we have next.
Y'all, I ain't been this excited since Kamala Harris was running for president, baby. I am so freaking excited. I had to pull this car over, baby. When I tell you, y'all know as I scroll through TikTok, I went to my job, people dressed up with something. Do you know what this looks like today? This looks like the United States of America. Baby, I am so proud of my white people. White people, Mexicans, Asian, young and old. Baby, he, she, every queer, whatever. Baby, everybody's out there. Yeah, black folks, we not out there. Not I see a little sprinkler in there. But baby, don't y'all think for 1 minute that we haven't been praying for y'all success or that we ain't hoping for y'all success, because this is exactly what we've been wanting to see. Some real people come together. It's time for us to stop looking at the color of each other's skin and come together, baby. And I believe Donald Trump, baby. You know, sometimes I know it's an old saying. You know, like they say, God sometimes have to knock you so far on your back for you to be able to look up to the sky. Baby, I believe that he sent Donald Trump to just make us miserable so that we could come together and see that it's not about black or white. Michael Jackson told us a long time ago, it's not about black or white, baby. Oh my God. But it's about human beings. I am so excited today right now, y'all. I'm really, really excited. Thank you for everyone who went to these marches. I'm going in early to work because I already got to close, so one of my coworkers can go ahead and get to the march because she gonna stand in proxy for me. I love y'all because I can't go anyway. Bye, y'all.
All right, she was excited. That was dear Panda Ross on TikTok. She was excited, but you know she was in her car and she said it was a sprinkle of black people. Yes, that's because we're not out there. And do y'all know why we're not out there? I know part of us because we're tired of marching. We're tired of it. We're tired. We were upset. We're very upset. And we've taken a back seat to a lot of the stuff. But that doesn't mean we're not working. I'm doing my job by doing this podcast and making sure that you know what's going on. But while we're not out there, guys, I heard that there was one rally where they were going to put up bouncy houses for the kids. They brought kids to the rally. Kids to a protest? If it was a black protest, baby, we wouldn't have kids nowhere around there. Because some of us are going to jail. We're going to get pepper sprayed. We're going to get water hosed. It's going to be armed officers on horses and everywhere if it's a black protest. Trust me. That's why we're not out there. Because Donald Trump would declare martial law. He's already did an executive order of some sort that he can do that. And they would turn guns on us. We know that. That's why we're not there. But our dear white people are there. And I'm glad they're getting to see what it means to be disenfranchised and have to march for your rights. Because you haven't done it. I mean, there have been some times where you've done it, like the women's suffrage movement here and there, Vietnam here and there, you know, the LGBT, the gay movement, that one. But as far as white people out there protesting just because they need to, I mean, there have been sprinkles, but not like we've done it. Not like we've done it. So that's why we're not there. Now keep listening to some of these influencers and creators. Let's go next.
But when you show up only to just the organization of it, but don't actually show up to actually do the damn work when it actually comes to the actionable thing to do, which is voting, then it doesn't matter. I mean, y'all show up to protests all the time. Y'all show up to rallies all the time. We had 75 motherfuckers show up to Colony Heroes rally, but they didn't show up to the motherfucking polls. The actionable thing, the real thing that makes the change is the voting part. Don't worry about us. We good. We understand this. This isn't our lesson to learn. We understand that we must vote, obviously. 92% of us motherfucking voted for the right goddamn candidate. 80% of black people voted for the right motherfucking candidate. It's not our lesson to motherfucking learn. It's them people out there, them white folks out there on the front lines that say that they care about these things and then go into that booth and do something different. Those are the motherfuckers that need to know the damn lesson, not us. So don't sit here and shame black people and say Martin Luther King would be ashamed. Martin Luther King wouldn't be ashamed because he looked at the motherfucking results and saw that 92% and 80% of black people voted for the damn black woman. Martin Luther King will be motherfucking proud that we're not on the front lines because it went swimmingly. I didn't see no barricades. I didn't see police officers spraying the damn crowds with bullets last time under the Trump administration. Peaceful protests were being shot. I saw white supremacists and white nationalists coming out of states with rifles and shooting people. Remember Kyle Rittenhouse, and then also getting fucking damn exonerated for murdering 2 peaceful protesters. I didn't see any reporters get arrested by police. I didn't see civil unrest. I didn't see cities on fire. I didn't see people and agitators trying to take over the fucking movement. I didn't see any of those things because guess what? It was all white. It was an all white party. And y'all did what y'all was supposed to do. However, that's only half of it. I'm not giving y'all kudos. I ain't giving y'all damn tens. I ain't giving y'all shit. I'm not giving y'all a motherfucking thing until I see some real motherfucking results. Until 2026, and I see that y'all asses allow us to take back the House and the fucking Senate, then y'all ain't getting shit from me. Y'all ain't getting kudos, y'all ain't getting brownie points, y'all ain't getting gold stars, y'all ain't getting motherfucking A's, y'all ain't getting nothing until I want to see the fruits of the damn labor. I want to see y'all continue organizing, and I'm not sitting here saying that y'all didn't do y'all big one. Great. However, the actionable thing is voting.
All right, I forgot to warn y'all about some of my little guys I picked. They do have some colorful language. This is my boy, Too Raw, Too Real. He's a well-known Democratic creator. He was invited to the Democratic National Convention. He got to interview people. He's been with Kamala Harris. He's been to the vice presidential mansion, and he's participated in a lot of stuff. But he's telling the truth. So do y'all understand that? Whenever we as black people do protests, other groups come and protest against us. The white nationalists, the Ku Klux Klan, all these other people come out. But because it was all white, they had basically a bouncy house protest. And like he said, y'all did your thing. But don't be trying to talk about us not showing up. There's a reason why we're not showing up. Donald damn Trump is in the White House. We're not trying to go to jail. We're not trying to get shipped to El Salvador. Because he's on a revenge tour. And y'all can say that he's not the most non-racist. You MAGA people say he's the most non-racist president we ever had. Lies. We're not crazy. We're not crazy. And we're also not sitting dormant because we're doing the work, baby. Trust me. We're not sitting around letting you guys tear up this country. We're going to do our thing like we always do and help y'all come out of this thing. But kudos to y'all that came out. We appreciate you. You did your thing. But you're not going to see much of us on this trail, guys. You just ain't. Not with Donald Trump in the White House. No way. Not with dear Pam Bundy. She's already threatened Jasmine Crockett to saying something. That she was going to come after her. Jasmine say what the hell she wants. So, thank you, but no thanks. Yeah. And we know how to do peaceful protests. We were taught by the greatest one of all, Martin Luther King. We know what to do. But it ain't working anymore. That's why Malcolm X came along. And the Black Panthers. Because stuff got real. It is so sad that we're still talking about this kind of stuff in 2025. Let's see what's next.
This is coming from a black woman who's absolutely sick of it. I'm going to tell you right now, thank you, Donald Trump. And I know all of y'all are thinking that I'm losing my mind, but I'm going to tell you why. Thank you, Donald Trump. Because when you elect hate, I'm talking to you, America. When you elect hate, understand that it has no boundaries. It doesn't stop at just one type of a person. It doesn't just stop at the person that you hate. And all of y'all now who are making excuses for your vote and talking about, oh, I didn't know it was going to go this far. I didn't think that this might happen. I didn't think that this might affect me. I didn't think that this might affect my brother. Yes, you did. You saw what hate did in Germany. You saw what hate did to the Jews. You saw what hate did in Palestine. You saw what hate did to black people in slavery in this country. You saw it. You saw it with your two eyes, but you excused it. And you continue to excuse it because you think it's not going to touch your doorstep. Well, we're here now. And you elected a bigot. And you know what a bigot is? A bigot is somebody that don't like nobody. He don't like his wife. He don't like his children. He don't like the guy that's sitting right next to him and he's currently destroying Tesla. He likes nobody. He likes nobody at all. So understand that when you elected hate, this is what you brought us to. We are all responsible. Cubans hating Cubans. Mexicans hating Mexicans. Oh, and what's your excuse? Oh, because I came in the country this way and he came in the country that way. All of it is ignorance. Ignorance. And you're going to hear it from this black sister right here because I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the Indians against blacks. I'm sick of the blacks against whites. I'm sick of the whites against blacks. I'm sick of it. Hispanics against Hispanics. Hispanics against blacks. Where has that gotten any of us? Where? We all deserve this because everybody at this point in life has a responsibility to do something that I call mirror reflections and thoughts. Taking the mirror and looking at yourself. Search yourself and find out what's inside of you that's brought us to this. We don't have any excuse anymore because we got way too much history showing us what hate does. And still we elected. So thank you, Donald Trump, because every single one of us at this point has a responsibility to check ourselves and find out why we are in the predicament we are in. Wake up, America.
All right. And you know what? My little sister right there, she said some profound stuff, and she's right. She's definitely right. Why can't we live in this country together? And she's right. We have inter-hate, extra hate, outer hate, over there hate, over to here hate, down there hate. God didn't put us on this earth to do that. And I know this has been going on for many, many hundreds and thousands of years of people hating certain kinds of people, but it's got to stop somewhere. But that's what's going on with the people, guys. There's anger, there's frustration. People want answers. And people are trying to do something. She looked very, very frustrated. And if you see her face, she was quite passionate about what she said. And I believe the sister. She's telling the truth. She's telling the truth. And I often allow myself, as I told you, I'm a Christian man. How God allowed Donald Trump to be in our lives. And there is a lesson to be learned. Now, the last time I talked about the subject of the white people out protesting, God dropped something in my spirit and he said, I want them to experience what it feels like to be disenfranchised. That's all I need to hear. Voice came on me just as loud. So that's what's happening. But we wait. We wait. Because joy is going to come. Something good will come out of this. It will. We just got to wait. All right, who we have next?
Greg Abbott is a wuss. He just set our special election date for Congress, November 4th, 2025. That means that our district will have taxation without representation for 8 straight months. Can you imagine that? Now, it's important to understand why the Republicans are doing this. They're scared. They've been losing special elections all across this country. Their policies are getting more unpopular by the day. They've got their own Republican congresspeople that are afraid to vote for their legislation because they know that the backlash in their district could sweep them out of office. So he's trying to prevent our district from having a voice because he knows that we don't fool with the Trump stuff. I'm going to Congress to be a brick wall to this agenda and to give Donald Trump hell. So they want to delay that as long as they can. I love how much they're worried about people standing up against them. Look at the rallies that we had all across this country. They know that the momentum is on our side. So yes, it is time to sue this governor. But regardless of what happens to this court situation, Greg Abbott, I've got a message for you. You cannot stop what's coming. So if it ends up being 8 months, you've got 8 months to get ready because the people are coming whether you like it or not.
Yes, dear Greg Abbott, my governor. Oh, God. And we call him Hot Wheels. Come after me if you want to. That's what we call him. He's hell on wheels. And I can't wait to get him out of office. So let's just read this here. Why is Governor Abbott delaying the special election for the Houston congressional seat? Texas Governor Greg Abbott has scheduled the special election to fill the late U.S. Representatives Sylvester Turner's seat November 4th. That far. You know this is strategic. He's talked to Donald Trump. Donald Trump has told him, push it as far back as you can because they don't want to get the House majority slimmer. Democrats have criticized the decision, suggesting the postponement is a strategic move. Postponement is a strategic move to benefit Republicans by leaving a Democratic seat vacant during a period where the GOP holds a narrow majority in the U.S. House. Harris County officials, including Chief Election Officer Tanisha Husbeck, have countered Abbott's claim, saying that the county is fully prepared and they're ready to go. But he doesn't care. He's thinking, we're going to rush the election. We just need to have people ready. They think we're really stupid. Furthermore, Harris County Attorney Christian Menifee and House Majority Leader Hakeem Jeffries have expressed intentions to pursue legal action against Abbott, arguing that delay deprives nearly 800,000 constituents of representation during a critical political moment. So that means that, dear people of Houston, Texas area, will not have any representation in Congress until November. Now, as you know, all the other elections they've pushed forward, but dear Greg Abbott pushed ours all the way to November. Yeah. It's not right, y'all. It's not right what they do. It's just not right. And that's how Republicans, that's how they govern. They lie, they cheat, and they manipulate. I really don't have any love for Greg Abbott. None. The man is, he's just handled Texas horribly. It's time for him to get out of office. Tired of him. All right. That's what's going on in Texas. What do we have next? Let's see.
All right. So this is the protests that are happening today. This message right here is for all of my black and brown brothers and sisters that want to go out and want to go out and protest too. Please don't. Stay home. You know, if you want to go out there and give out water or bring food or something like that, fine. But please, let us handle this one. Let us, people of my complexion, let us handle this one. Okay, we got you. We got your back. Be with us in spirit. Pray. You know, spread the message, spread the word, but don't be at the protests themselves. It's got to be us. It has to be us, and it can't be you. We love you We want you guys to be safe. We want everybody to be safe. We do not want to give them any reason or any excuse. Okay? Let us do this. Okay? You know, we got this. Just, if you're going there, turn right around. That's all I'm saying. If you show up, say hello, but then pack it up and head home. Okay? Love you guys. We got this. Okay? We got this.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Is that guy you? He spells it U-Y-U on TikTok. I appreciate that. I appreciate that message because they know that if we come out there, it's going to turn ugly. Not because we're there, because if we're there, they're going to bring out the National Guard. They're going to be horses. People with rifles and things of that nature. You're going to get all these nationalist groups coming out with guns. Because Texas, these states are open carry, some of them. They say he was right. It has to be y'all. That's why it has to be y'all to stomp out racism too. When you hear it from your fellow man, you got to stomp it out. It has to come from you. Because nobody's listening to us. We've been screaming it for years. For years. But I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate him. All right, here we go.
So you're hearing that the hands-off April 5th protests yesterday were so peaceful and everything was great and there was like no violence, no escalation, and that it was also predominantly white people, predominantly white women. Here's the thing. Here's the really important point. It is not that the people who were in attendance yesterday, right, the predominantly white people, the predominantly white women, are inherently more peaceful and law-abiding, and they just know how to do it, right? That's not the reality, okay? It is because they were met with a different level of force, being none, like a lack thereof, as opposed to when movements are predominantly about and backed up by people of color, right? Queer people, especially black people, especially black women. They are met with a different level of force, not only by police, but by like random conservative militia groups that were showing up every single day at the BLM protests. Like, there is a stark difference, not in the way in which the protesters are protesting, but a stark difference in the way in which power and force and violence, especially state-sanctioned, is responding to the protests themselves. That has to be a very, very important distinction that we make, because this is not a failing of other movements. This is a failing of our police presence, of the militias, of the power and force and violent force therein. Ultimately, who gets to protest peacefully and who gets met with extreme and violent force is not due to the protesters themselves. It is far more a reflection of power and control rooted in racism. And it's horrific. And yesterday we saw the stark contrast between what it looks like to be a white body versus what it looks like to be a black body in places, in public spaces where you are allowed to protest and talk about your humanity and your rights. We saw a difference. And again, it's not because of the protesters. It's because of the force in which they were met.
I love her too. That was NBENBY underscore therapist. NB underscore therapist from TikTok. And she just told you exactly what was right. You know, because there was some people from the right that was saying, look at this. This is a beautiful thing. There's no violence. Nobody's burning up any store. Yeah, because nobody's harassing them. I mean, when they said they were going to bring a bouncy house and kids were at the protest, I was like, what the hell kind of protest is that? You know? So she gave it to you. And they recognized it immediately. Like, there was none. She said there was like virtually nobody there. Where's the cops on the horses with the tear gas and the SWAT uniforms? They weren't even there, y'all. This hurts my soul. It really hurts my soul. Wow. But thank you, NB underscore therapist. I appreciate that message. Here we go.
You know, this comment is very important, so I need y'all to read this. When the chips are down.
The comment says, this is a guy. This is about Latinos and the support for black folks. It says, somebody put a comment on his TikTok. It says, when the chips are down, you Latinos forget the support from the black folks. So he's addressing this comment that someone gave him. When the chips are down, you Latinos forget the support from black folks. Here we go.
You Latinos forget the support from the black folks. And I cannot agree with this creator more. The Latino community and its anti-blackness is strong, and it needs to be expelled from our community. We hate black people within our own communities, where Latinos, and I'm talking to Dominicans right now, my people would say, oh no, I'm not black, I'm black white, or I'm Latino black. Whatever excuse to remove themselves from being African American, US black. The anti-blackness, the colorism in our community is so fucking toxic that is how white supremacists were able to split us up against each other, Latino against Latino, and also Latino against black Americans. And now we're seeing birthright citizenship being taken away, the 1965 Civil Rights Act being attacked. And what a lot of Latinos don't know is that the 1965 Civil Rights Act was also what gave a lot of immigrants like your parents the ability to actually become U.S. citizens. So birthright citizenship, a pathway to a status, was established, was given to us by the hard work of the black community. And when we were beneficiaries of all that great work that they did, what did the Latino community do? Spit in their face by voting for Trump, and now all that hard work is being wiped away. And that's right, Latinos did forget all of the support that black people gave us and helped us get to a place where our great-grandparents and our parents and then the children born today were able to be part of this country. And that's why I'm trying to work harder than ever to do two things. One, expel the anti-blackness in our community because, like I said before, we are black. And also trying to do my best to rebuild between Latinos and black Americans. Is it going to be easy? Hell no. Is there a lot of work to do on our part? Hell yes. But like I've said 1,000 times before, we are stronger together, and we...
Look, I'm just going to...
I like that. I like that. We're stronger together. We are stronger together. And guys, that's what's going on in the Latino community. And I've said this 1,000 times. I said, it's not me saying it. Your own people are saying it, that there is colorism within all of our races, really. And the colonizers came in and just kind of made it just worse. They have played us so badly, guys. It's just ridiculous. We've got to learn how to get over all this stuff and just be people and enjoy each other's cultures, celebrate diversity in this country. Wow. But that's true. Everything he said was true. The Civil Rights Act and the birthright citizenship, that was all because of slavery. Again, something else we did. Here's my next guy.
Throw out this word salad and it comes out however it is. I was watching a clip on TikTok. I guess S.E. Cup, her name is, she's a reporter or journalist, and she said Kamala Harris lost because of her policies. She wanted affordable housing. She wanted to help people get into their first house. She wanted to help small businesses start. She wanted universal health care. She wanted voting rights. She wanted women's rights. Yeah, S.E. Cup, those sound like really horrible, awful policies. How dare she do that? How dare she offer hope? And see, S.E. Cup, you're actually the reason we're still here. Because you refuse to accept what this country is. The only policy that people rejected was that Vice President Harris was a black woman. She could have cured cancer, and it wouldn't have mattered. But S.E. Cup, Your mentality is why we're still here, because you refuse to go on radio or TV every day and talk about it because you're afraid of losing viewers. We're here because people chose a convicted felon, a man who sexually abuses women, who performed oral sex on a microphone, who called Puerto Rico a floating pile of garbage, who had dinner with Nick Fuentes, who led an insurrection on the United States government, who still lied about the election. The man who moves hurricanes with Sharpies, who lied 30,000 times. And you really have the caucasity to say, oh, people didn't like her policies. This country has never addressed the white patriarchy. Period. End of story. Why don't you report on that, SE Cup? Because that's what we're fighting. What do you see at the protests? I'll tell you what I see at the Tesla takeovers. I see a bunch of diversity. I see young students, people, women that fought in the women's rights movement. I see gay people, trans people, straight people, Asian, Hispanic. You know what I see on the other side? Trump supporters, a bunch of pissed off little children with beards, camouflage, military boots, American flags, and pet bald eagle tattoos. Because that's what this is really about. When you look at the demographic of the protests, it's the same ignorant trailer trash, white platinum victim grievance people that worship the flag more than what it represents. It's this twisted and sick patriotism. It's almost a religion. They worship the flag. They pray to the flag. They have freedom toothpaste and freedom underwear and American flag condoms. And before breakfast, they do the Pledge of Allegiance. And they sing to it. They pray to it. They have holidays for it. But they'll never take a minute to say, when was it great for everybody? I wonder, what did a black person 100 years ago, how did this American flag represent them? I wonder about our Asian Americans that were put in internment camps. How does that flag represent them? How do they see it? How about women? When they were treated like second-class citizens, how were they treated? But you don't want to have that conversation, SE Cup, because it makes you uncomfortable. People that look like you and I, white Americans, we have to pull their hoods off and expose them for what we are. This is not our black brothers and sisters' mess to clean up. This is ours. Because in 1787, white slave owners, who were pieces of human garbage, owned black people. And this country was designed for 21-year-old white men to benefit. And they said that black people were only worth 3/5 of a person. And then after signing the Constitution, they went home and had the slaves pick their goddamn cotton. That's why we're here, SE Cup. How about you report on actual history and not white history? How about you get off your place of privilege in your white entitlement and actually report on why people voted for the white supremacist? He wears orange makeup and diapers. Maybe you should report on that. Because maybe, just maybe as a country, at some point, if more people like you and I speak up, and if you use your platform to speak out about the white supremacy in this country, maybe we can then progress. But as long as people like you keep putting your head in the sand and being ignorant and saying it's about policy instead of about make America white again, we're never going to progress, SE Cup. Be better.
All right. He was talking about, I like this guy too. This is Paul for Equality. He's on TikTok. Paul for Equality. And he's talking about SE Cup is, she's a frequent contributor on CNN. I believe she's a journalist first. And she's real good friends with Meghan McCain. But, you know, I like her a lot better than Meghan McCain. But she is a pundit. And she said on, you know, and I agree with him about that. Just like she said, Kamala had no policies. What the hell was all that she was talking about? We had no policies. There was a whole 90-page booklet that was written on all the policies that she had proposed. And she spoke about them everywhere she went, just like Trump did. But then our policies were no policies because it wasn't the policy of economics which the economy was getting better. They were trying to relay that to everybody. It was on the upswing if you just waited a little bit. But now you're having to wait for Trump to dump it in the garbage. Now you want to wait. But you didn't want to wait when we said wait, but you want to wait because Trump says wait, because I guess you trust him more. But in the meantime, your 401k is about gone. Trusting the wrong people. So he came at SC Cup, and I heard her when she said that. And he is right on it. Wow. But anyway, y'all can follow him on TikTok. His name is Paul for Equality on TikTok. And he has some good content. All right, here we go.
We're peaceful. Did you know that yesterday's hands-off protests were peaceful, not because black people didn't show up, but because white people did? Hello, I'm Earl from CBU, Crackers Being Useful, and I want to get into this. I've been seeing some stuff about how peaceful the protests were yesterday, and people are correlating that with the fact that most black people stayed at home. If anything, this proves how aggressive the police are with black protesters. It has nothing to do with the protesters that didn't show up. It has everything to do with the protesters that did show up. It was peaceful because white people are treated differently by the police than black people. And another thing I want to add right here at the end is I'm seeing a lot of stuff from white folks talking about how we got to do something because they were raised white trash, they were raised poor, so on and so forth. I want you to stop for a second. If you've been telling yourself this, if you've been telling yourself that you know the black experience because you are white trash or raised poor, I need you to stop equating poverty with black people. Please. Y'all have a good day.
All right. His name is Earl, and he's on TikTok as well. I like Earl, and he talked some truth there. See, this is what's so great about it. These messages here, they cannot come from us. All these messages have to come from you to your own people. They will not trust us. They have to come from you, and I appreciate all of these guys that have seen that. That warms my heart. Because that's the way we fix it. That's the way we fix it. And we're going to still have fights here and there, like brothers and sisters do here and there. But let's stomp out racism in our lifetime. Stomp it out. Where we can truly say that it's gone. I appreciate that, brother. Here we go.
I have a very visceral response to a post that I saw a brother make this morning. In his post, and before I start, brother, I am not knocking you for your beliefs, for your opinions, or what you think we should be doing as black people in this time period. But to summarize his post, he was saying that he believes that this is black people's time, that we should be out there setting things right and getting things straight. For the most part, I'm paraphrasing, but he doesn't believe that we should be in this rest period that we claim to be in. And I don't think, it's not like we're sleeping in the bed. Our eyes are on it. We see what's going on. But what set me off with what you said was that we're angry that Kamala did not win. And that is so belittling to me, for you to assume or to say that the only reason why we've taken the break. No, it's not that we're mad that she didn't win. We're mad because we're finally just hearing. We're hearing what the collective, racist, white supremacy, even people that look like us, we're hearing what it is that they're saying. We have been at this, brother, for hundreds of years, okay? We have been out on the front line. We have you, and I say we, okay, so I wasn't there, right? But as a collective, as black people, We have been on the front line. We have put our bodies on the front line. We have been beaten. We have been hosed. We have had dogs sicked on us. We have been shot. We have had situations blamed on us when we've done protests, but nonviolent. We've done it. How many times do you do something and they return the same answer? And I say they, not giving them power, but they have responded exactly the same. You see these protests this week? So peaceful. That is so peaceful to the point where they're asking why there aren't bouncy houses for the kids to play in. If they took their kids, we couldn't take our kids to any protests. We have fought in these wars and come back and still be told, now return to your ninja status. And you want us to go out, this is our time? No, this is our time to let them either burn down their system that they've kept us out of the fringes. They've kept us on the fringes for so long. Yeah, we had Barack Obama. Okay, great. That was what started all of this. They just completely lost their mind that a black man had the audacity to think that he could lead this country. And now they're finding out. Now they're finding out because they're always pointing, saying, well, it's going to be those people over there, not me. And now it is them. Let them fix it. I have no idea where we fit into this whole scenario. I'm not going to fight for white rights. I am not going to fight for any of the other cultures that have come on here constantly and told us, the ones that are experienced, that we're doing it wrong, we're saying the wrong things, we need to be. No, fuck all of that. We have done that. And for them to have the audacity to be telling us, when it is us that has been here suffering, and it is them that have benefited from our suffering. Now let them get out there and fight their own fight, and let us be the recipients for a change. So the fact that this is our time is coming, but it ain't here yet. It ain't here yet. And God bless black women, because had it not been for them, I wouldn't have known what to do in this period. But when you think about it, how many times are you going to be slapped in the face and you still go forward to get slapped again? No, fuck that. No, I applaud you for your beliefs. And if there's a group of y'all out there that feel as you do, then go out there. Go do whatever it is that you think we should be doing. Be the change that you want to see. But in terms of, I just, when you said we were upset that Kamala did, no, that was a symptom of what we're feeling. It is much, much deeper than Kamala not winning. Because I didn't agree with everything with Kamala. I had some issues with the fact that she was married to a Jewish man, and how was she going to be effective in Israel with a Jewish husband? But I still voted for her because I knew that this shit was coming. We knew, and we told them. So this is our time. No, this is our time. You're exactly right. To stay out of it. This is their system. They have said that over and over, and still to this day, there are states voting to keep us in our place, quote unquote. So no, tired of fighting a losing battle. Tired. They keep saying the same thing, and we keep ignoring them. Now we're not ignoring them. So if you want to go out there, go ahead, bro. And, again, I'm not attacking you for what you feel, what you think. But that's why I asked you, how old are you? Because if you have lived and you have processed and you have really, really thought about what these people have done, I don't know. I don't know how you're able to turn the other cheek. I'm tired of turning the other cheek. Now I want to punch. So that's why we're not out there. Okay? So take that for what it is.
All right. That was XN Pruso, XN Pruso. And this brother, I follow him on TikTok. He said some profound things, but he summed it up pretty well. So guys, so that is who we are. And the people have spoken. Yes, they have. And unfortunately, it's still where it is. We're not out there protesting with you, but you have to know that we're doing our part. But we can't do it this time. It has to be you. White brothers and sisters, it has to be you. It has to be you. I can't believe that anybody can sit and watch this whole Donald Trump regime who could care less about anybody. And to me, still, I just cannot fathom what has taken hold of these people. I cannot. Donald Trump surrounds himself with the most of people. It's ridiculous. Wow. So that's the episode, guys. It's what the people are starting to mobilize. We're speaking up. And I thank my white brothers and sisters for taking the lead on this, because you have to. We're going to speak up. We're going to do whatever we can, but we can't take the lead. He's already trying to wipe us out. It's not enough of us. We've always needed you for everything to happen in this country. We have always needed you to partner with us. It's not enough of us. It's not enough. So that is where we are. And I keep saying that everybody can do their part somehow. I mean, if you don't want to march, you ain't got to march. But you can write your congressman. You can do like I'm doing. You can get on TikTok, get on here, start a platform. You can start doing this kind of protest. Yeah, you can. Go to town hall meetings. You can do that. But make yourself known and know that we know as a people that God is in control of this thing, and we wait. And we wait. But always keep the prayers going. Keep the prayers going that this whole thing works out. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Let's Talk with Carl Elon. You guys, you have a wonderful evening. Bye now.